Why do I care so much what people think about me? I think I'm gay.
Because it seems to me that there's two separate issues about things like the Danish cartoons which get conflated. One is the question about should the cartoons have been published in the first place? Now, it seems to me any newspaper editor, anybody on a picture desk of a newspaper or a magazine, every day is presented with material where they have to make the decision, is this worth putting in the magazine or not? And I think we can also agree that maybe no two picture editors would make the same decisions. Some of them would print all those things, some of them would print one or two, some of them would print none of them. So on the one hand, you've got the argument about quality, and so should the things be in the paper?
Yes.
Myself, I think that most of them were rather tedious, and the ones that weren't were actually the most offensive ones. I mean, the best cartoon was the one which shows suicide bombers arriving at the pearly gates.
Yes.
To be greeted by the Prophet Muhammad saying, "Would you please stop doing it because we're running out of virgins?"
Yes.
Now, that has the great merit of being funny.
That has a bit of bite to it.
Yeah. And actually, the one with the turban, the bomb in the turban, was similarly, a perfectly legitimate, strong, satirical point.
And well drawn.
And well drawn. And so those two, the ones that people got most exercised about, would actually be the ones that I would, if I were the picture editor, that I would have published, and many of the others were just beyond bland. So that's one issue. Would you do it, would you not do it? But it seems to me that there's the second issue, which is what you were talking about, I think, is what happens when the subject of violence arises. And at that point, it seems to me the subject changes. The subject is no longer about whether you should publish or not publish these things, but about how do you respond to violence.
Yes.
Do you respond to it with cowardice or courage? And at that point, it seems to me that every newspaper in the world should publish the Danish cartoons. Not because they like them, and not actually because they particularly want to insult Islam, but just to make the point that you don't give in to threats.
Yes.
And so I think sometimes, when people start talking about the cartoons as objects, were they good or bad, were they offensive or inoffensive, that's one half of the point. But the second half of the point is the question of the response to violence. And I think that's one of the things that has got very blurred recently. And one of the most, I think, mealy-mouthed pieces of language that is developed to justify this kind of behavior is a kind of reinvention of the meaning of the word respect. It seemed to me, when I was growing up, that respect meant that you took people seriously. It didn't mean that you never disagreed with them. To respect someone is to say, okay, we'll take on what you have to say, and if I don't agree with it, I will offer a counter-argument. The idea that it would be disrespectful to someone to in any way disagree from their system of belief is a new idea, is a new meaning of the term respect. And it seems to me to have nothing to do with respect. And what it actually means is I'm too afraid to do it. So what you have is cowardice masquerading as respect.
Turning now to our top story, the outrage in the Muslim world over caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad. Any depictions of Muhammad are offensive to the faithful. But in many Western nations, freedom of expression is a sacred right as well, including the freedom to express offensive ideas. Well, for some perspective on this, I spoke with columnist and author Christopher Hitchens and Ahmed Yunus with the Muslim Public Affairs Council. This is a debate. They do not pull any punches. And we began by talking about the decision of many media outlets, including CNN, to pixelate the images of Muhammad.
Now, I know, as well as you do, that you have not done that in order to avoid sparing the hurt feelings of my fellow guest. You've done it because you're afraid of retaliation and of intimidation. Now, I'd like to ask him and anyone else who agrees with him who's watching, is that the relationship they want to have with the free press? Because if we have to use this stupid word offensive, those of us who believe in the Enlightenment and the Constitution and the First Amendment are very much offended by this mad, babyish conduct. But we don't go out and kidnap the nearest Muslim we can find and take him hostage till someone apologizes. We don't violate diplomatic immunity. We don't, which is one of the most precious things in the international community, much more precious than the right of Muslims not to have their feelings hurt.
I'm so fat. Brendan, you're not fat. It's the shirt. Look at Nate. He's...
Do you like being on the cutting edge of knowledge?
But you will hear the screams of the damned.
A person that spends his time considering...
Root of All Evil was a slick television program, edited and cut in... All hail peace.
Hello, this is God.
Darwin came to the Galapagos Islands.
Try and take some of his points in order. First, simple, very small one, the Diane Sawyer point.
Every single day.
Greetings, fellow Homo sapiens. This is one less guy.
Hello, is this the golf course?
Yes, it is.
All right, can I speak to the head greenkeeper, please?
The head greenskeeper. And what can I do for you?
Okay, what's your name, sir?
What is it I can help you with?
Can I just take your name down, sir?
What can I do for you?
Right, well, I'm calling here now. My name's Joe, and I'm calling from Nichols, the building contractors.
Uh-huh.
Listen, I just want to confirm that we're going to come down to the golf course tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.
Are you sure you want this golf course?
That's right, yes. We're going to come down there and we'll have the first hole and the first fairway dug up by the time you guys arrive for work.
Well, if you do that, I guess we won't be playing golf ever again.
All right, but no, what we're going to do is we're going to take up the fairway. It's on the paperwork here.
What paperwork?
We're supposed to dig it up. Turn that off a minute. Turn it off.
What paperwork? What are you talking about?
Hello? The paperwork says that I'm supposed to come down there and dig up the first fairway and the first green. And then we're supposed to lay it down afterwards with the new synthetic rubber stuff to make the balls bounce